We are here. Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Watch Your Mouth Reviews. This is your boy James. I am here to give my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. This is Bold and Bougie, Season 1, Episode 5. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. But joining me is my special guest, Mrs. Beth. Y'all say what's up to her.
Hello.
Yeah, so she is joining us here today. We are going to talk about Bold and Bougie Season 1, Episode 5. I know almost a week late with this video, but y'all, these schedules trying to collaborate is getting tough. So we are trying to do our best, y'all. It's not easy, but we are trying to do our best. So with this episode, y'all, it was a bunch of cut up scenes that they tried to put into one episode. Carlos, do not do this no more. Because I almost didn't recap this because there was way too much going on. It was way too hard to keep up with because he had something on everybody. And I'm just like, I cannot do this. You need to focus on one or two ladies per episode and bring the group together. One or two ladies to the next episode, bring the whole group together. You need to do it like that. The fact that you had something on everybody and squeeze this all in 1 hour episode, it was way too much. So if I missed something, y'all, I am
It's
very sorry.
giving reality TV Tyler Perry, and that's
It,
not a compliment. I'm sorry.
no. So, going forward with this, they first opened the episode where we left off last week with Goshay, Tamika, and Malaysia at this restaurant or lounge, and they're trying to come to some resolve. Goshay and Tamika are still going at it. I don't even know what they're even arguing about in the first place because it doesn't make sense. I think Goshay did feel a way about the woman comment. I really do think that she felt away and was really, trying to hold Tamika to some homophobia. And Tamika is just in la la land, not really caring, not really paying attention, and not really saying much. So it's funny, it was laughable, but then in the moment, Malaysia was like, okay, well, Tamika, you do kind of run the jump ship when it comes to you getting confronted. You either don't want to deal with it or you try to place it off. And then when you do try to confront, you drag everybody else into it. Like, we can't have you do that and no one else can get a word in with you. And to some extent, I did agree with Malaysia when it came to that. However, I would rather Tamika for likes and giggles and that I feel for her right now. I would rather her do that than it to be a situation where she's doing what she did on Atlanta X's, which was do entirely too much when she was arguing with somebody and I feel like she was above it all. I would rather her do this, what she's doing now, because this is what makes me like her right now. How did you feel about that scene?
um, Malaysia gets on my nerves. Like I understand that I understood what she was saying, but at the same time, if I'm Tamika and I have to argue with them, I'm gonna avoid you too. I'm not doing it. So I don't know. I just feel like everybody there is kind of looking for a moment, specifically Malaysia, Gaucher. I don't like this cast. I'm starting to realize. But yeah, I don't know. I get why Tamika's acting the way that she's acting. And with Gaucher, I agree she is looking for a moment. Listen, you cannot come for a heterosexual person's ability to get married, status of singleness, or whether they're with somebody. It's the same thing as if we attack somebody of the same sex, except the difference is I think the few fucked up heterosexuals who are homophobic as fuck caused the LGBTQ community to want their movement, and then it turned into all this stuff. And Gaucher just gives me one of those people, part of the community, who, if you tell her about herself in any way, make any type of inference, even if you didn't mean it to be that, you're homophobic, or she's going to find something that you're doing hateful. So I don't know. Gaucher do this on every show. And I feel like Tamika knows and is just not going to engage. So
I'm glad she's not giving her the time of day. I really am because it's almost like, come on. Like, realistically, she was trying to shade you. I caught it as shade. That's all I'm going to say about it. I'm not going to really give it too much energy when it comes to Gaucher. But as far as that goes, I just really feel like I um I'm not here for Gaucher right now. I just feel like for me, I feel like she was a waste of a cast member. I feel like I wanted to see somebody else.
she's overproducing. and
Yeah,
it's gonna get to a point where nobody is going to deal with her outside of Malaysia. Can guarantee it.
very true.
Yeah,
Considering this episode, very true.
yeah.
So the next episode, next scene. Sorry, y'all say episode. Next scene, we have this whole TMZ drop line of Safari dating Crystal.
I forgot about that. This was filmed ages ago then.
I remember when this came out, but I don't remember it in tales of. I didn't think it was serious. I just thought they were just at a restaurant or they went out to eat, and TMZ was trying to put, or not TMZ, but other blogs were trying to put out that they were dating, and I just thought it was just simple. He was just going to dinner with somebody. So she goes to the gym to start working out. All I could look at was her booty.
Diaper booty.
I'm just like, ladies, I'm not gonna say this, but one more time. All you got to do is let age and time happen. If
And
you ain't
some
got no
greens.
if you ain't got no booty, I promise you when you get to about 35 to 40, it's gonna come out of nowhere. I promise you it's going to you gonna get hips, thighs, and everything else by the time you 35 and 40. Let age take its time. Because what's going to end up happening is that shit is going to cause a lot of after effects, hence Dr. Princess when we get there.
Mm-hmm.
But stop doing this. Stop. This is ridiculous. This is silly. It does not look right, especially when you looked at her legs, when you looked at everything on her. It
Looking like
looked
a turkey leg.
it
Just
was horrible. So, ladies, think more of yourselves. You are beautiful. Men really do not care about that. They don't at the end of the day.
as you see, she's divorced. And why? Because he was still stepping out. Your ass could be as big as the goddamn Empire State Building. Okay, it's not gonna keep a man. You gotta have a connection, y'all. So the aesthetics are nice. Yes, we're attracted to people on how they look, but at the same time, it's not gonna keep you together. So think before you swipe that card, sign up for that payment plan, or beg your insurance.
And I wonder what's in her booty because I know it's not her flesh. So I wonder what's in it. I'm just curious because it was lumpy and bumpy, it looked like oatmeal. And I'm not finna sit up here and champion this woman's beauty when all I could see was this gigantic ass with them little ass legs. I cannot
Child.
do that.
What I will say about her as Safari, I think in her case, this is gonna be real shady. And I like Crystal, but this is gonna be shady. I think she's excited that she was caught on a date or whatever the fuck or out to dinner with this man. Cause no shade outside of Mio. Know you. We're getting to know you. But outside of Mio, we don't know you. I don't know what she's done. I know that she owns a chicken and waffles place with Carly Red and some other love and hip hop D-list celebrities. So, you know, I'll leave it there.
I don't. I was gonna get to that. I just had to take a little sidebar. But since we're already there, let's go ahead. So, Shah, whatever his name is, I still love him. Comes up in there and was just as extra as he want to be, and then he asked her about Safari, and she goes, "Nope, we're not talking about that. Nope, we're not doing that. I'm not gonna get that energy. I'm just, I'm just me. I'm doing me. I'm single. I can do what I want." And it was like, ma'am, ain't nobody talking about all of that. The reason why he's bringing this up is because it has made headlines somewhere. When you have public recognition, one of the downsides of public recognition is that a whole bunch of bloggers and people like myself are going to report on things that we see in the media. Either someone has sent us a photos in our DMs of you and this said person out to dinner, or they send us you in the car with them, you and said person. So I don't understand you. If you really honestly wanted to keep that to yourself, then you shouldn't have got on reality TV. If you should have just been Neo's wife somewhere up in the hills, maybe move to one of the country towns where don't nobody know who you are and just live off your money that way. But you're on reality TV, and this is one of the things you have to deal with signing up for it. So no one needs to hear about you saying you don't want to give something some energy when we're just going to make up our own assumptions, and then that's going to be your fault for not getting ahead of it.
Especially when we don't know shit about you.
Right.
If we knew anything about her, like, it's not even about her being someone's baby mama. If we knew anything, excuse my cat in the background, I know it'd be scary, y'all, looking like a ghost coming out of the light, but if she if we knew her in some way, like, on a serious note for her business, 'cause she doesn't really promo it on social media,
Right.
um,
That's another
you
thing.
know, we could feel something, but not knowing her, it's like you cannot talk about it. It doesn't make you more exclusive. It actually makes me not care. If you're on TV, like James just said, and this is supposed to be an opportunity for you to attain fans, how are you going to if we don't know anything? Just say you kicked it, it ain't go nowhere, and keep it moving. Grow up.
I would almost rather her do that than to kind of put up this facade that I'm single, I'm dating a whole bunch of dudes and this and that. Because then now you're making it seem like, you know, there's more to it than that. You're
Yeah,
making the rumors seem like they're true, whatever narrative people are painting of you. Because the fact that you don't want to talk about it, but you're paid on TV to talk about your life is just absolutely insane to me. I'll
baffling.
never understand. I just won't understand. So, um, they then talk about the Dr. Princess situation because that was the last time they had seen each other. And with the Dr. Princess situation, one of the things I will say about that, and I'm gonna leave it alone, is that I don't feel like Crystal was in the wrong. I don't. I feel like, well, I'm gonna say not in the wrong initially. I feel like she got there at some point, but initially, no, she was not in the wrong. But
Mm.
what I will say is that I feel like they're giving this more energy than they need to, as far as what happened to them that night. I feel like they're giving this place because one, it didn't seem like this was really Crystal's event. It just seems like she was one of the guests.
She says she's a host,
I
so
don't
she was
believe that.
paid. She's paid to arrive. I assume that's what hosts do. I mean,
Yeah, and see, and the whole point is that I kind of felt like where I kind of turned on her in the middle of this argument was, if this is your hosting event, why are you letting this lady who you could easily have security escort out of your event? Why are you giving this that much energy? This is what makes me, this is why I'm crossed between the two. Because Dr. Princess is there to, like she said later on, which we'll get to, that she's there to chase clout and get on the show because it does look like that. But at the same time, you're giving her what she wants when you argue with her versus say, I'm security. I don't know this lady. Get her up out of here, please. Boom. That's all you got to do. So
yep.
they talk about that, and it's just that was pretty much it. I'm not even gonna touch base on what all that was, but it was just a lot. Like I said, too many cut up scenes in this one whole episode.
Well, without that one altercation, no shade, this show would be boring as hell. Nothing has really happened. I'm not, and you know who I'm most disappointed in? We've seen Tamika's house, we've seen Goshay in therapy, we've seen Dr. Princess at her practice, at home with her husband, opening up about her health struggles and her career. Pretty much everybody has shown us something into their life that would be appropriate for a reality show, except for this bitch, LaQuisha or Malaysia, whatever the hell her name
Well,
is.
we're gonna get
She
to
never
LaQuisha in
gives
a minute.
anything. And I'm just annoyed with her existence on television.
We're gonna get to LaQuisha because I wanted to bring up something too that I saw LaQuisha do on this reality TV show. But just one second, we got to get to Dr. Prince. I mean, not Dr. Prince. Princess, damn it. The cast member Princess. So cast member Princess goes over to Dillard's and she meets up with these two ladies who are employed there. She basically does a fashion show annually that showcases, the catalog of Dillard's. She hosts it in the actual department store. So she wants to do something a little different this year where she's incorporating fashion pieces for younger and older generations. She also this time wants to showcase men to show their lines and everything. And that's a pretty good idea. I've heard of her doing this before she was on the show, but I didn't know that that was actually her. I thought that because when I saw this in Atlanta, I was like, oh, okay, because um, one of the models in there is actually somebody I followed on Instagram, and he was showcasing it. So as far as one who I don't know who he was doing the makeup for. I don't even remember if the model had a name, but I just remember seeing it and I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. So this is what this is then. Fine. So moving on from there, we then go over to LaQuisha, and that's Malaysia for anybody who does not know who we're talking about. She is also doing a photo shoot with her sister. just doing one little piece. She didn't show a catalog of any other models, no other pieces, but she said she did a clothing line during the pandemic, and it was selling off the roof. It was selling out everywhere. Okay, Malaysia. Okay, it was selling out everywhere. We get it. Okay. But she, starts talking, about how her sister, she's the frontliner, she can't wait, and then all of a sudden, this man comes in with a bouquet of roses, and I'm
A
thinking,
very unattractive man. I
his name
said
is
it.
Kenny Clark, who is a former football player. Now,
Yeah.
when y'all Google him, be very careful because there is another Kenny Clark that plays currently today. That is not that same man. Because people were dragging everybody up and down. They said, no, this is him. He's younger than Malaysia. And I'm like, that is not him. Because of Mr. Biles, shout out to Jonathan Clark, I now know who plays for Green Bay now. I know
Oh
all the
Lord.
players and everything. Kenny Clark plays for that team.
Okay,
Okay,
James, I see you.
yes. So this one played for like Milwaukee in 2001 and 2004. He now today flips homes and does the Egypt Charade. Shout out to Egypt Charade because that's, y'all know, that is my
We
best friend
like
in
her
my
a lot.
head. We love, I know, when I tell y'all I love me some Egypt, I love me some Egypt Charade. So he basically does that. So he comes in, his bouquet of roses, and they get to talking. And Malaysia with this all this laughing, and I'm just like, Malaysia. I'm like, really, Malaysia. Malaysia sound like a damn Buick when she laugh. I'm like, girl, if you don't stop with this giggle, like, ugh. So they begin talking about her mom, and I have to be serious now because I also know what this is like. It's for her as well. She has a mother fighting through cancer, and it's really getting, to a very serious stage. And she started talking to him about how she really, would love to be married, but she's not going to get divorced again. She does not want that for her life. And if she gets married, it has to be the real thing. And he says, oh, I told your mom last time I saw her I was going to marry you. And I'm looking at this fool like, okay. So I'm just going to say it like this because I don't want to disrespect this man because I have, respect for my black men who can, do what they want to do. But Malaysia does not like attractive men. I had Googled her husband and I was looking at him and I was like, he is not cute at all. And then I'm looking at this dude and I'm like, yeah, she does. I don't know what, some women like that. Some women do that because they don't want the man to be prettier than them. And I
Well, she
think
ain't got to
that,
worry about that when she ain't got on makeup. Here's the thing. I think Malaysia in her first marriage, she reminds me of one of those women who like she had her good love, but I I think after Gennaro, she's going more so for what you could pay for, not if it's gonna work or connections, deeper things like that. Um, that's pretty much what I think. I'm not saying she's a gold digger because Malaysia has her own money and her own independence, but usually when women come up and men too, people of a certain income bracket want to be with people who can, in the words of Phaedra, at least be able to provide them with $4,000 a month of recreational activity gifts or whatever the hell. So I think she's too focused on that. I really don't take her dating or anything seriously on this show.
I don't think she's into this man. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. And the thing about it is, Malaysia is one of those type of women where she really is confusing. And I say confusing being like, you'll never really know if she's in love. You'll never really know if she's really taken because she's not going to
Huh.
present that to people. She's going to keep that hidden, which is why we never knew that her and her husband went through all this infidelity and she had the last straw and she came back on Basketball Life single. It was like, well, where the hell did this come from? Because if we look at the reunion, you was talking about, oh, Gennaro, I love you and I'm gonna be with you and we're
Right.
gonna work it out. And then here you come the next season single, and it was like,
Huh? Like
What did I miss? Nothing was in the blogs.
nothing was shown.
Nothing was ever said. So how the hell we get from there to here? So that's one of the things I get confused about with Malaysia is that she's always like 5 steps ahead and not really in being on TV and having people who follow her. We're never really seeing the remainder of the steps. We're just seeing drastic measures, and it's like, whoa, where the hell did that come from?
Just
So
keep it real once.
right, that's what I'm saying. So I guess if she like it, I love it. I guess, but that's not what I picture Malaysia with at all. Now I do see her with somebody older. I do because she has an old spirit. So maybe hell, I don't know, but I just don't see this. So we then move it on over to Doctor. Excuse me, Princess. God damn it! Why do y'all have two people with the same name on the show and not really giving us last names or nothing? But Princess is at home cooking. I said, oh, I was confused on what she actually cooked. So, oh, the least
I
you can
think
do.
the cameras were too because the way they kept panning to the food that she cooked was I was looking at it, I was like, it looked good, but
Yeah, some
what
of it
was
did.
it?
Yeah, yeah, some of it did. Like honestly, I couldn't tell. I really couldn't. I was really, and I paused it and was looking. I was like, "What did she cook?" I loved her pots and pan sets, though. I did, but
So cute.
yeah, but I was really confused. So she calls the lady from the Dillard store, the department store, and the lady said, "Oh, well, you know what? Guess what? Mrs. Dillard called me herself and said that she loves your idea and that she actually wants you to showcase some of your own pieces in the fashion show." Now, I would have dropped that phone and screamed. If that were me, camera all in front of me, I would have dropped my phone and screamed and ran all through my house and would have been happy and joy. That was some amazing news. I was so happy for her in that moment. I'm glad that she was able to score something like that. I didn't know Mrs. Dillard's was still alive and kicking, and oh,
Shut up, James.
I
Stop it.
didn't. I really didn't. I didn't. I have to Google Mrs. Dillard's because I did not know that that was an actual woman.
I didn't either.
I did
But we
not
only
know.
have like we don't have Dillards like that in California. We more so have Macy's. Um, we don't really have. There's one in Stockton, but it's raggedy. So I'm
Yeah,
surprised.
we have them in Phoenix, and we also had them in Florida as well. So Dillard's was big in both places. So when I go back to Florida, initially I said I was going to go get some because the cologne is cheaper there. Just saying, surprisingly.
Not the
So
cologne is cheaper.
it is. Unfortunately, it is. I don't know what they do out here in Phoenix, but Florida, it was way cheaper. So after she begins talking to her husband and everything, she tells him about the deal and everything. And he was slightly messy talking about the other girls ain't really on your level at all, which um, a couple of them definitely is not.
In terms of professionalism and accolades, I don't think anybody on this cast is on Princess's
No,
level
the
in terms
compliments that
of
she has, she's another Mariah Huck. None of
yeah,
these ladies are a Mariah Huck.
yeah,
So I'm sorry, I have to agree with him. They are
yeah.
not on her level as
They're
far as.
bosses, but
Hmm.
Princess is like a legend of a boss.
Right.
Yeah.
She created something that can never be duplicated. So I feel like for me, I had to agree with him. And she kind of took that in. You could definitely, what she does that cracks me up, but she processes a lot. And I don't know what that's about. I kind of do the same thing. That's why I laughed at it. But she processes a lot. It's like, man, just go ahead and just go with it. Take your little compliment and keep on moving. You ain't got to sink that in because it shows up later on, which we'll get to in a minute. So what else happened in this damn episode? I feel like I'm missing. Oh, Malaysia go over to Bambi's store, Shimmer, and meets up with Dr. Princess. And Malaysia's talking about how she wants to, showcase some hair and she needs inspiration and do some research. And I'm like, Malaysia, This is not giving you have a successful clothing line. This is giving you trying to invest in something real quick to make sure you get a kickback. This is what this is giving.
If you have a successful clothing line, you're not going to go to your best friend who you grew up with store to basically scrimmage through her things to find something to resell. That is not, sometimes that's how it works, but if you have a clothing line, I apologize for the sirens. If you have a clothing line that you're supposed to be selling yourself during COVID, then I assume you don't have a warehouse location, any of that. Usually you'd be selling your own merch, not going to someone else's store to purchase stuff to sell unless she had her own little store, like a boutique. But I don't know. Malaysia be bullshitting on the camera
She
with her
do. It
50
was
pound
like,
wigs, as you say.
yeah, I'm just like, girl, if you don't take that shit off your head and get you a nice, cute little silk one and stop playing. But Dr. Princess tells her, well, no, she tells Dr. Princess that Crystal is planning this divorce, I guess, destination road trip, whatever the fuck she's planning. And, she feels like she would like Dr. Princess to come, but she needs to make amends with Crystal. And, and Dr. Princess says, okay, yeah, I can definitely, we can do that. I don't have no issue with her. And, good. She goes, Malaysia's like, I need this divorce trip. I need a trip. And Dr. Princess says, I need to divorce something as well. And Malaysia was like, well, divorce what? And she turns around, shows her ass. And she goes, how you going to divorce your ass? And she said, I need to get the silicone out of my ass because it is giving me some health problems. And Malaysia was confused. She goes, how are you a whole doctor and not know that that wasn't a safe thing to do? And she said, well, I wasn't a doctor at the time, friend. And this is what I'm telling you, ladies. This is what can happen when you put that shit in your ass. So I'm telling you, time tells the tale. Now, if you want to prepare yourself for the booty you about to get, yeah, go on to the gym and do your little squats. And they got exercises now with your legs. I can, kind of firm it up. So because I'm telling you, that shit gonna sag. You gonna wonder where the fuck it came from. You need to go. I'm telling you, time tells the tale. It does. Wait till you get older. Wait till you get older. This is what now you see Dr. Princess when she did it when she was younger. Now she has to go and redo a whole nother surgery, pay all this money to get this shit out her ass, go through a whole bunch of treatments. Ask K Michelle. Ask K Michelle.
There's documentaries on it
There's
now.
documentaries on it.
Yeah.
This shit is not safe. So I commend Dr. Princess for being, in a place where she can admit that it was not the best decision she ever could have made. There's going to be a lot of risk removing it, so she's hoping that it goes well. Malaysia was being overly dramatic, and I was like, Malaysia?
Because you don't care.
I don't know if it wasn't that she don't care. I just felt like, how the fuck did this be about you? Like, how is me telling you I'm finna remove some shit out my ass got to your mama and you losing her and shit like that? I get the two can't equate because losing a friend, losing your mother. I get the two.
No, no,
That's
no, don't say that.
loss.
She's not losing a friend.
Well, I know she's not, but is she just? But she made it more dramatic than it needed to be.
Listen, all she needed to do was tell us about her mom. Honestly, while like we could have learned about her mother while she was like at home doing something with her kids, or if she doesn't want to film the kids, we could have learned about it while, like when she was with that man, since they've been dating, that's appropriate. But your friend just told you they're about to have a very dangerous surgery and they have life. Your mom is sick, has life as well, but your friend having surgery. The Malaysia's reaction to the surgery, no shade. I know that she really is upset about her mom, and I hope her mother heals. I really do. But it just reminded me of her reaction to years ago with them police. I had to think about it when she tried to act afraid of the police
Oh
officer
my God,
on
yes.
Basketball Wives. She's a bad actress and a liar, and we have to remember that with her. So yeah,
I will never forget that because she really was acting a fool on that street. I remember that. Just, girl,
she's a hot mess.
she really is. So We then go over to Gaucher's restaurant. Gaucher is in the back in the kitchen working.
Pretending to work.
I don't bit more believe Gaucher do that every day or
No,
once a
she
week.
doesn't.
And I don't.
She
I
doesn't.
don't bit more believe that did anything because she didn't know where she'd go. She didn't know who called out sick. It was like, okay, but you do this, okay. So Malaysia comes in and she goes, "Hey, friend." She goes, "I'm, having two people meet up and everything." And Goshe was like, "Who?" She goes, "Well, Crystal and Dr. Princess." And she goes, "You gonna make them meet up at my establishment?" She goes, "Well, they won't act a fool in your establishment." And y'all goddamn right, because Goshe look like she'll jump over some shit and start swinging too
And put you out.
and put you out. So yeah, y'all right, y'all not gonna act up in her place. So um, Crystal gets there, talks to Malaysia, and Malaysia tells her, "Look, we are meeting with someone because I kind of want to dead something." So Dr. Princess walks in and was like, "Hi." And Crystal actually, I was very surprised and shocked. I was like, "Oh wow, she actually has sense." She goes, "Well, hi, how you doing?" Shook her hand and everything, and pretty much, long story short, y'all, because I don't even want to go through this because this was some fuck shit to begin with. Crystal was like, I just felt like from jump you were, starting with me, and we were just calling things out. And Dr. Princess felt the same way. No, I didn't start anything. Y'all started with me first. It was back and forth, and then finally they agreed to disagree, and they decided to start over again. And Crystal in her confessionals are like, "Look, I know an opportunist when I see one." Sis is giving all them vibes, and I couldn't agree with Crystal more because she absolutely is. It's given you wanted to be on the show with Malaysia, but Malaysia couldn't sell you. That's exactly what this is giving. So I kind of agreed with Crystal there. So now that we got that out the way, the last thing we're going to talk about is Tamika's event. She is partnered with another person who feeds homeless people, and she wants Kyle's World to join in that so they can spread awareness for Lake Lanier, which they doing Tamika wrong on Lake Lanier. Mrs. Best has sent me an article saying they're trying to build some water attraction on Lake Lanier, and I
Oh
just
no,
said,
they are. It's opening, I believe, this month.
wow.
Yeah.
So y'all, that ain't if that ain't a huge slap in the face to Tamika's cause, I don't know what else is. So one or two things happen. Either they didn't march, they didn't protest, but they didn't have enough petition signed to get this, but they are building an attraction for Lake Lanier in present time.
Listen, the lake, I don't know if it's like a public park like it is in other states and stuff,
Like
but
Lake Chabot and all them, yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What I will say, we know the history of the lake is bad. We know that people continue to die. We know that the lake is located in a state with a government that is a hot mess. Let's just call it what it is. So,
Right.
the people in fucking Georgia, in my opinion, if you live there, vote so you can like change the people in office and maybe some of these things to get better. And you can vote for options outside of Democrat and Republican because I think they both problematic personally. But like vote and do something, protesting and all of that. They're not going to give a damn about the protest. They don't care. Uh, and I guarantee you guys that Tamika and her foundation for her son Kyle, that I guarantee you there's many other foundations, which she has spoken about also, and many other people that are fighting for the same things. The best thing that people can do in a situation like this, I feel like her foundation brings awareness to it, but the government don't care. They're gonna do what they do. So she needs to start encouraging people not to go to the lake
I
because
agree.
they're not gonna build some shit like that and then not charge people to come use this recreational area. So stop bringing your kids to the lake where kids keep dying. Like, and that's also the accountability of the public and the citizens of that area, frequenting that lake. Why bring your fucking kids somewhere that you know people are dying? You know the government's not doing anything. Put yourself at risk, and then when something happens to your kid, you're upset. But why bring them there in the first place when this lake has had this history for decades, going on more decades? It doesn't make sense. Like, let's use
It
our logic.
doesn't, and that's a good point. That is an excellent
You
point.
cannot count on your government to take care of you. You take care of you.
Right, exactly. So with that being said, the other ladies begin to show up. Gaucher, when she walked in, immediately had an attitude, and I don't know why. It was very like,
She always mad about
yeah,
something
it's like, when
to
did
where
you
we go
come in
stop
here?
caring.
Yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, like Mrs. Best says, producing at its best. but honestly, I really felt like she was gonna go at Tamika again. Her going at Princess was kind of a shock to me, at least. But I have to keep it real, y'all. As much as I don't like Gaucher, Princess was tripping. Princess was absolutely tripping. So to give y'all context, I'm gonna go so because we have to bring it to the next video, y'all. But to give context on what happened, basically they were talking about the divorce trip or whatever that Crystal was planning and everything, and how they're gonna go to Dr. Princess's strip club. And I don't know if I don't know how the joke was said, but Princess didn't catch on to it. So she starts dancing and was saying, "I'm blonde. I guess I'm dumb and everything." And Coach Shay was like, "It was a joke," and Princess took it serious. All like, "No, you said I was blonde, and you said I was dumb, and everything." And it was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa! That's not what she said. That's not what happened. She was making a joke, and you just it went over your head and on your shoulders because then you start to get in your feelings." And Gaucher was like, "I'm not doing this," and immediately walks out. And she tells production, "Take this mic off." And everyone was confused because she just stormed out and was like, "No, I'm not doing this." And it was like,
I
yeah,
feel like O'Shea was probably
she
at
was mad
every
about something
event,
else.
somebody has come for her because she's always in some shit doing bullshit. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that she's probably tired of that. But what she forgets, and what a lot of the audience fails to forget, is yes, Princess is timid. Yes, Princess needs to stand up for herself. Yes, it looked weird, and I felt like her husband probably got in her head, and she's like, "I'm next time I'm around them, if I sense anything." But we have to remember, Princess has also genuinely, in my opinion, been slightly bullied by Gaucher, and I'm just going to say that. I feel like Gaucher views Princess as an easy target. Malaysia's also been shady and quirky, but like pulls back a little bit because if you know that someone's timid, if you know that someone struggles to stand up for themselves, then why are you going to continue throwing shade at them? I mean, it's been multiple episodes that Gaucher's been messy with Princess. So, of course, if you make a joke, the person who you've been fucking with in a non joking way, talking shit about, is going to read that as you doing that, not as a friendly joke. So I got Gaucher where it's like she don't want to deal with the bullshit. It's a charity event, so she just left. But then I also understand Princess's perspective and why she may have taken it as something that was more serious than it is. Like you can't treat people a certain way, then get mad when they don't want to joke around with you. You
I don't
can't.
know. I felt two ways about that. I felt like one, Princess was tripping. But two, I kind of felt like O'Shea did come in there with an attitude, like you could see it
Mhm.
in her face that something was bothering her. So it was kind of like it is a flip of the coin. Like, was whatever happened to you before you got there, and you were just looking for a target? Because I felt like
Mhm.
somebody was gonna get into it, and I really felt like she was gonna go at Tamika again. I really do. For whatever reason, I don't know why I felt like that, but it just seemed
Mhm.
like that was right. So her going at Princess jokingly, even though it didn't seem like it was a joke, but I don't know. These ladies are confusing. This show was confusing. It's just it's all over the place.
No shade. It's the show is a show made up of a bunch of messy rejects that were messy on their previous shows.
Pretty
They all
much.
had something in common because Crystal, Gaucher, everybody on this cast has been on the show except for Princess. She just was creating shows.
Yeah.
But and all of the cast, with the exception of Princess, were the messiest people on their shows. And they all ran away from their shows instead of being accountable for their actions. Well, except Crystal. I believe hers was canceled because no one wanted to work with her. But it is what it is.
Mhm. Well, yep, that's it. But that was the episode, you guys. This was Bold and Bougie, season one, episode 5. I'm still going to keep it because I need to see what happens on the next episode. But it's all right. I guess I have not dropped it yet. It's not like Love and Marriage Detroit. So we'll keep it for now and we'll see what happens. But y'all, this is on trial basis because the way this episode was cut up, like I can't. All these different scenes and all this, it was way too much. So we're going to go ahead and move it on, y'all. Like, comment, and subscribe, especially if you like what you see. Share the video. Tell a friend to come on over. We have a good time here. So we'll see you guys on the next recap, which will be Real Housewives of Potomac. We also have a special addition to that episode, so I definitely want to make sure you guys are here for it. See you guys in the next recap.